this just felt like the most logical follow-up, honestly. A couple of weeks ago, I talked about my experience listening to Frank Ocean's music for the first time, and discussed his artistic evolution. And though that video flopped to high heaven, it's one I'm still happy I made. I mean what I said in that video. With just 4 official projects under that man's belt, Frank has stamped himself as one of the greatest musical acts of our time. And it made me realize that this journey of me expanding my own music taste should have started a long time ago. But no one gets extra successful without a bit of help. As mentioned in that video, when Frank moved to California to pursue music full time, in 2009, he joined a rising hip-hop collective. And this collective was Odd Future, a hip-hop/R&B creative collective that at the time consisted of members Haji Beats, Sid the Kid, Left Brain, Casey Veggies, Jasper Dolphin, Domo Genesis, Travis Taco Bennett, the younger brother of Sid, Brandon Deshay, Pyramid Vitra, and Mike G. All created and spearheaded by one of Frank's newly formed friends, Tyler Gregory Okome, otherwise known as Tyler the Creator. Like Frank, Tyler has been a rising star of the 2010s. His stardom began surrounded by the controversy of his very dark and offensive music, while simultaneously getting huge cosigns and working with some of the most beloved and critically lauded artists of all time. Nowadays, Tyler has seen a meteoric rise in fame and has become a well-beloved musician, fashion designer, and cultural icon, and is already being considered in the GOAT conversation as one of the greatest rap artists of all time. But also, just like Frank, I don't know why, but I felt this weird hesitance to start listening to Tyler. While the title is a bit hyperbolic, once again, I have not heard the majority of his music before. Before I started doing this video, I was obviously aware of the hits like Yonkers, Who Dat Boy with A$AP Rocky, She with Frank Ocean, and of course, Earthquake with everyone's favorite bisexual lying vampire Playboi Carti. But with a staggering 8 solo projects now under his belt, not including the estate sale, and a lengthy career surrounded by memes, controversy, and his very unconventional rise to stardom, I didn't feel like I could properly do his discography justice. I mean, my initial plan after the Frank video was to talk about Tyler eventually. I was going to put this off until December because I knew this would take a lot more time to do, given the fact that Tyler has double the amount of albums that Frank did. But then out of nowhere, on October 16, 2024, Tyler dropped a teaser single for his newest project, Chromacopia, announced the following day as an album, releasing a week and a half later on the 28th. And this broke the internet for a multitude of reasons. The most obvious being its surprise announcement just less than 2 weeks before its release, and the fact that it broke Tyler's unbroken release schedules, with him normally dropping a project every 2 years or so. And with his last project technically being in 2023, most were not expecting anything new until at least 2025, making the announcement of a proper album all the more exciting. And that's when I realized that this was the perfect opportunity. According to what I saw from fans, the Saint Chroma teaser and the single Noid sounded like nothing Tyler had put up before, and all of his fans were very excited to see where he was going to go with this coming project. And with the project now out and seeming to be a very promising era of Tyler's career, I finally realized that this was not only the best time possible to give his discography a try, but also I can make money from it because I like money and I'm a poor college student. The French job market sucks ass. So after almost 4 years really of pushing this off, I finally realized that it is time to finally look into the discography of the multi-hyphenate musical icon that is Tyler the Creator. Just like the last video, the purpose of this one is to share my opinions on Tyler's artistic and personal growth as a first-time listener, and not to provide a comprehensive breakdown of each album's story. I will link video essays that do that kind of thing in the description, but watch me first please, I'm more important than them. With Tyler, doing a video like that would easily be over 5 hours. And even then, after realizing that cramping all of what I have to say about Tyler's discography into one video would make this at least double the length of the FML video, I've opted to divide this into 2 parts. With this one, part 1, discussing his early career from 2006 to 2015, and the next part discussing his modern day evolution from 2017 to the present. And given that I will be discussing a very special era of the internet, I feel that it is appropriate to dress accordingly. In 3, 2, 1, boom.
Ravioli, ravioli.
Do I even need to explain it at this point? Every time I see an old Joji video, I have to remind myself that when I was heavily contemplating, I listened to this same man's music on repeat. Life is interesting, isn't it? Born Tyler Gregorio Coma on March 6, 1991, Tyler and his younger half-sister Linda were raised by their single mother, Bonita Smith, a mixed woman of both Canadian and African-American descent. Tyler's father was absent almost his entire life, only meeting him in apparent 9 times before, in Tyler's eyes, abandoning him. The most that we know of Tyler's dad is that he is Nigerian with Igbo ancestry, a Nigeria-based ethnic identity, which is a rare sorrow for Tyler to face, as most African fathers are not physically unpresent, just emotionally unpresent. Tyler got his last name from his dad, opposed to his mother. He was born and raised in the Los Angeles County area. And another important thing to mention about Tyler is that he suffers from ADHD and asthma, being a self-admitted rowdy child. And with the combined absentee father and being neurodivergent, as you could guess, he had quite a tumultuous childhood. He apparently went to 12 schools throughout his 12-year academic career, and even while in school, he very much felt like an outlier. He tried joining the school drama class in 8th grade, but was considered too hyper and got kicked out. He also tried joining a band class in 9th grade, but was kicked out because he couldn't read music. Tyler very much felt like an outcast from the other students and teachers. And being the neurodivergent black kid in Los Angeles County doesn't really help with that. Plus, with a growing strain between him and his mother during his teen years, he would move in with his grandmother at age 16 as he went to finish high school. Despite this adversity, Tyler has shown a love for music since he was a child, with him making fictional covers and track listings for imaginary albums when he was 7 years old, dreaming of making music for real in the future. His biggest inspiration from an early age was the legendary producer and musician Pharrell Williams, and despite being kind of an outcast, Tyler would find comfort and passion in music, as he started making his own beats at age 12 with production programs like Reason and Fruity Loops, even teaching himself how to play instruments like the drums, and his mother even gifting him a keyboard at 14 where he would teach himself piano. Tyler had a lot of creative aspirations as a kid, even past music, and similarly to Frank, would post them on social media, on his former YouTube channel titled Blockshead, which the videos are still up to this day if you are curious to see what a, teenage Tyler would look like, but the main space being his MySpace page under the name Imagine Ace. Remember MySpace, guys? Yeah. Me neither. While Wikipedia and other biographical articles say that the beginning of his career started in 2007, technically it would start in 2006, with him uploading beats to his MySpace under the name Monopoly. A lot of the songs from that era would be lost to time, unfortunately. This seemed to be a side project at the very least. It only lasted a bit of time before he started uploading proper rap music to his page in 2007. Under the name Ace, or down the line Ace the Creator, from 2007 to 2009. But also in 2007, Tyler would found and form one of the most infamous yet widely cherished collectives in both music and internet history. Of course, the LA-based R&B hip-hop creative collective Odd Future Wolfgang Kill Them All, known more popularly as just Odd Future, with its founding members Left Brain, Casey Veggies, Haji Beats, now known as Haji, Matt Martians, Pyramid Vitra, Brandon Deshay, now known as Ace Hashimoto, Davon Wilson, known to most nowadays as Jasper Dolphin, and Tyler himself. They would release their debut collective tape in November of 2008 for free on their website. And again, OF was more than just a rap group. It grew to be more of a creative collective than anything. Its original concept for Tyler was a magazine even, with members like Jasper and future member Travis or Taco not even being rappers, just being friends of Tyler's, only appearing on comedic and satirical songs, but we'll get back to that. Odd Future is a major part of Tyler's musical and personal journey. He would shout out the group and various members throughout many of his early songs. And this group, in some ways, would become one of the first viral acts on the internet. And part of its success is due to the fact that Odd Future, at its core, was the definition of adolescence and rebellion. They managed great underground success due to the fact that other teens were resonating with their authenticity. They were all outcast kids that made being different feel cool. They helped popularize hypebeast culture, for better or for worse, and they acquired the success on the early 2000s internet while Tyler was still in high school. That is a near 1 in a million chance, even today. Tyler would use his MySpace page to befriend and later add new members to the collective, like Domo Genesis, Mike G, and later in 2009, recruiting 2 of his most prolific members besides Tyler himself. Those 2, of course, being 15-year-old rapper Sly Tendencies, now known as Earl Sweatshirt, and of course, singer-songwriter Lonnie Bro, now known to most as Frank Ocean. And these 3 are basically the big 3 for like chronically online older Gen Z and like younger millennials. Like I said in the Frank video, Odd Future is a very important part of Tyler's story, and I won't be ignoring it, especially given the fact that Tyler is the nigga that created it, but I will be detracting from it a bit so we can discuss his solo discography. But again, if you really do need that Odd Future video, you can let me know. As the group started to grow more and more in popularity, Tyler's music did start picking up a bit of traction online. There are 3 main Ace to Creative projects that came up during this like come up era. 2007's At Your Own Risk, and 2008's Stereotype and Eargasm. Many of these tapes would be unfortunately lost to time or end up unfinished, but would feature singles that would later come on his first proper project. I mean, Stereotype was made in response to his mom and school counselors telling him that he wouldn't make it, so you can definitely tell how much passion this man has had for music since the beginning. For a while, as he and the rest of his friends were broke, almost all Odd Future and Tyler music were recorded in bedrooms on laptop mics, since none of them had access to any proper recording equipment. Hell, this coming project we're going to discuss was produced on a demo version of FL Studio, where he couldn't even save the projects when he was finished. Modern day producers do not understand how lucky you are with modern day piracy. And before this video continues, piracy is technically a crime. And on the LxgendaryWill YouTube channel, I am not promoting crimes. Guys, crimes are very bad. Piracy is a major no-no. Unless you forget your Netflix password and you want to watch Better Call Saul, then maybe like it's like okay, I get me. But in 2009, Tyler was able to snag some proper recording equipment in the house of OF members Sid and Taco, getting to work on his next project. In order to gain time to work on it, Tyler lied to his mom and grandma that he was attending community college, while in reality, he would go to Sid and Taco's house, dubbed by him and his friends as The Trap, to go work on music. In reality, he had only gone to community college 4 days before dropping out. Oh my god, is that a reference? Is that a reference to something? Oh, good lord, I'm a fucking virgin. Along with Tyler recruiting 2 of OF's most known members in 2009, this would also be the year that he finally adopted the artist name that we know him as today, Tyler the Creator. And after a little over a year with 6 project singles, on Christmas Day 2009, on the Odd Future website, Tyler dropped his entirely self-produced debut independent mixtape that he now considers his debut album, to an audience of a whopping 46 people. The infamous Bastard. Ooh. Turn the freaky lights on. Now, before this video does continue, I do need to give a bit of a trigger warning. Tyler's first 2 projects dive into very disturbing subject matter, and I was prepared to read said subject matter, but I want to at least try and have monetization on this video, so fuck it. It includes subject matter of homophobia, misogyny, murder, and more, in excruciating detail. So if those topics would rightfully make you uncomfortable, this is your chance to either skip in the video chapters below and just go to the Wolf Era, or if you decide to stay for the ride, viewer discretion is most definitely advised here. Bastard in my eyes is a very self-reflective definition of character for Tyler at that time. The majority of the project had been in recording since he was 16-17 and was released when he was 18. On this project, Tyler looks at how his absent father put a permanent scar on his life and mental health, with Tyler growing up a bastard and expressing many of his emotions to the absolute extreme on this project. In retrospect, Tyler admits that a lot of the darker parts of this album were born out of a need to make a statement of some kind and gather attention. And that he did. The cover of the project is future OF member Lucas Versetti's old class picture, but intentionally distorted with some of the kids' expressions changing, some having their eyes or faces removed, and others having disturbing images put on their faces or clothes. This could demonstrate a level of inner jealousy that Tyler has, as most of the kids in that photo most likely grew up in happy two-parent homes, and Tyler is angry that he never had that. The main cover, the one with the red tint, is meant to represent evil, while its blue alternate cover is meant to represent happiness, and also features a hidden message. It's not that hidden, but it's a hidden message. In this album, we follow Tyler as he attends a therapy session with his therapist, Dr. TC. Dr. TC asks Tyler questions about himself as he opens up, and we get more into Tyler's psyche. The tape starts off with the title track, Bastard, a song that almost perfectly summarizes the entire album itself in just 6 minutes. Once again, just off the first track in his discography, I already knew I was in for a treat with Tyler. After starting the song dissing hip-hop blogs that were shading him at the time, Tyler emotionally dumps to Dr. TC, as he talked about how he is depressed and seems to contemplate very often, how he was getting into school despite being a good student, how he harbors so much hatred for his father for abandoning him, and how his relationship with his mother and grandmother are complicated. And this song is freaking amazing. I have rarely heard an album intro perfectly capture an entire album's essence like that before. It's an almost perfect intro to not just this project, but Tyler's career in general, like for real. From jump, you can see how much passion he has for music, even stating in the song how he hopes to win a Grammy one day and that his mom and friends attend the ceremony. And not to go too far in the future, because that's for the next video, but as of today, he is a 2-time Grammy winner, and the first time when he won, his mom and Jasper were there in attendance. In retrospect, it feels like he spoke to life a lot of his career in this song, and it's truly amazing. This might be a bit of a bold statement, but like already this is the best song on the album. Like hands down, already starting off strong. The next track is the song 7, one of the other singles from this project. At the end of Bastard, Dr. TC asked Tyler what he would tell his dad if he had the chance, leading perfectly into his response. A no-hook one-verse track with fire original production from T, where he raps about being above the mainstream and wanting to stay in his own lane. A very common motif throughout all of his projects, but especially apparent on the early stuff. Following 7 is another single, the song Odd Toddlers with KC Veggies, overly sampled 8 Octobre 1971. The same song sampled in MF Doom's One Beer, produced by Madlib. Here, Tyler and KC just spit 3 braggadocious verses. It is also a song Tyler now hates, and honestly, I get it. I wasn't really feeling it either. That is something that you will see a lot as these videos progress. Tyler is his own worst critic. Next on the track list is the song French with Hadji. Here, Hadji and Tyler just talk about how unapologetically vulgar they are, and this would go on to be a fan favorite from this era. And while I do like the production, a common criticism that you will see me have for these early projects is that the edginess does get a bit tiring at a certain point. You can only hear Tyler say the F slur so many times, which first of all should have been our biggest clue that something was up with that boy. And then talk about putting women in his basement and da-da-da-da before you just get desensitized to it, which perfectly leads into the next track, Blow. Taken from the perspective of the infamous Ted Bundy, Tyler raps about how he tries to put the moves on a girl so he can then essay and murder her. Fun. Also, another fun fact is that throughout this project and a bit of Tyler's early work in general, he's kind of a proud snow bunny chaser. Dr. Umar would not be pleased, my brother. The next track, though, is another single, the song Pigs Fly with Domo Genesis. Here, Domo and Tyler rap about how they're chasing their dreams despite how impossible they may seem, with the title being an obvious spin on the phrase, when pigs fly. While I love the message, again, it's alright. Following that is the track Parade, a song where Tyler laments the incoming ending of his childhood. To remind you all, the majority of the project was made when he was still 16 and 17. Turning 18 appears to be very daunting to Tyler. This track has grown on me a lot since then, and I think it is one of the better cuts from this album. This fear of growing up and maturing will also come back in a very major way down the line in his discography. And it's also one of the only songs where Tyler doesn't say a slur of some kind. Good job. The next track would be Slow It Down, once again with Hadji, another previously released track. You can tell because Tyler referred to himself as Ace in the beginning. Hadji and Ty were also very frequent collaborators around that time, and Hadji would be featured on a lot of Tyler's early work. On this indeed slower instrumental, Tyler and Hadji flexed their rapping skills. I'm not gonna lie, not that much to flex. After hearing a song like Bastard or Parade, you are so well aware that Tyler can do more, and, you know, this just ain't it. But thankfully, he does do more with the next track, Ass Milk, with Earl Sweatshirt. 15-year-old Earl and 17-year-old Tyler go back and forth over this fire original boom bap beat, but showing the potential that the both of them possessed. Following this song is one of the first of many dual tracks on Tyler's projects. Track 10 on each of Tyler's albums, well, almost all of Tyler's albums, is always a 2 or 3 track medley or multi-part song. This one being VCR/Wheels. On both VCR and Wheels, Tyler raps about how he wants to link with a girl, but it suddenly goes from, damn, I wanna hit so bad, to, I'm gonna do bad things to you without your consent. Tyler really doesn't want me to make money on this video, huh? Following that interesting piece is the track Session with Mike G, Brandon Deshay, and Hadji. After being teased by his friends for not partaking in any drugs, something that still is the case for Tyler today as he is notoriously straight edge, surprisingly, the four of them spit some chill, weed-themed verses in this backseat freestyle kind of vibe. Well, technically 3 of them. The original version of the song had Brendan on it, but he and Tyler would get into a beef in 2009, him getting later kicked from OF, and his verse would later be replaced by Mike G. This beef is also why the second song on the album, 7, is named 7. It is a dig towards a group that Brandon belonged to at the time. But following Session is track 12, and Tyler's most infamous song to date, the horrifying Sarah. Now, technically this song is part of an isolated trilogy, starting and ending on 2 lost Tyler songs. The first one is called Fuck Love. No, not that one. Described as a rough draft and unfinished song, where Tyler just raps about how he's over love after 2 girls that he liked rejected him. One of them being named Sarah. Now, the song Sarah tells the incredibly disturbing tale after she rejects him when Tyler asks her to go to homecoming. Sarah is based off a real-life person, her real name being Raquel, as earlier mentioned on the album. And in a fit of desperation and rage, Tyler would proceed to kidnap her, throw her in his basement, rape her, kill her, parts of her body, and finish having sex with her, then killing himself before the police can get to him. This song is truly haunting, with the cold, monotone, and just psychopathic delivery from Tyler, accompanied by the voice of Sarah, who most assume is just Taco with like a voice filter of some sort, begging to be let go. It is beyond horrifying. As I said, Tyler vents his emotions to the absolute extreme on this project. He even said that on the intro to Bastard when referencing this exact song. And it really doesn't get more extreme than that. The song's scrapped sequel leaked in May of 2022, and it's titled Rotten Sarah. In another incredibly dark song, he seems to be rapping from the afterlife as he talks about how happy he is that he and Sarah are finally together, gazing at their dead bodies laying next to each other. And as much as I advocate for artists to be able to express themselves artistically, I see why people were not so willing to accept OF and Tyler just yet, because this shit is insane. This is insanity. This is actually insane. Like, bro, normally when I make these videos, I put like a number ranking with each song I discuss so I can like, like, I can't even speak, assess my overall opinions on an album. For this one, dude, I just gave up. Holy shit. I just gave up, man. What do you say? What do you rate a song like that? What do you do? God damn. Following Sarah, somehow, is the last single from the project, Jack and the Beanstalk, sampling Jay-Z's What More Can I Say. On this track, Tyler once again boasts that he is above mainstream culture and that he is going to make it big on his own terms. It's really hard for me to talk about this song because it just directly precedes Sarah. Like, it's like going... It's like doing a 180 from like the most disturbing thing you've ever seen to watching something so innocuous like someone drinking water or some shit. Like, oh my god. Man. I like the no hook. It's kind of, ironically kind of fire. Following Jack and the Beanstalk is some very necessary comic relief with the song Tina, featuring Jasper and Taco. As mentioned before, Jasper and Taco were one of the only non-rapping members of OF, and were just friends of Tyler. So they both freestyle nonsensical lyrics about random shit, while the three of them persist that Tina needs to perm her weave, something that she still hasn't done to this day, unfortunately. I'm not even saying this because this is I have the suit on, but it feels like something that would be on like on a Pink season or Pink Guy self-titled or something. I don't know. I loved it immediately. But following Tina is the final song on the album, Inglorious. One thing worth noting as well is that these first three albums have another common scheme. The intro and outro always link to each other, with the intro and outro on this project linking to make the phrase Inglorious Bastard, an obvious nod to the Tarantino film. On this track, Tyler more seriously reflects on the lasting impact that his father's abandonment has had on him, but saying that his dad can go eat a dick because he was able to make it through life without him. Still, unfortunately ending the album wanting to harm himself, stopping on a cliffhanger that would lead into his next solo project. Technically, closing Bastard as it started, on kind of a somber note. For me, this project is the definition of a mixed bag, but I will say, I see why people were already gravitating towards this project back in the day. Bastard is like the definition of teenage angst. He took his very real feelings of abandonment, rejection, heartbreak, and made this very angry, almost demonic project. I mean, hell, the title track's production literally uses a piano tritone called the Devil's Interval, a kind of musical interval always associated with evil in some manner. And even the first bar on the project being, "This is what the devil plays before he goes to sleep," which, I'm sorry, that's hard as shit. That's so hard. This project truly defines what it means to be a troubled teen. And while I can praise it for the story it tells, it does suffer from its darker moments. Again, Tyler admitted that he wanted to make a grand statement and garner attention, and that he was able to do, but in the end made an album that feels like at some points he's just overdoing it with like the controversial talk. Like, as crazy as it is to say, at a certain point when listening to the project, I was kind of just like, okay, we get it, bro, you're a rapist, please, next song please. While I recognize the importance this album has to Tyler as an artist, and I can appreciate what it did for his career, it is on the weaker side. So that's why for me, Bastard gets a 6 out of 10. While not perfect, an album that still shows me a lot of promise for Tyler's future. 2010 would really be the year that OF started picking up steam, thanks to both the underground success of Bastard and the rise of Earl and Haji, the most promising of the group at the time. They would also release their second group tape titled Radical. It is described as the most disturbing project that the collective has released to date, with songs featuring similar subject matter that was on Bastard, also adding to the group's controversial rise. 2010 though would also be the year that Odd Future would take a temporary but unfortunate loss, when Earl would infamously go off the grid. Don't say it, don't say it, don't say it, don't say it. For over a year. It started off with Earl just appearing to decline opportunities to work with the group, but we would learn from Tyler that Earl's mother had stepped in and refused the release of any more of Earl's music. We would find out later down the line that Earl's mother had sent him to a strict boarding school in Samoa, where he would spend 18 months away from the internet and away from Odd Future. This was a devastating blow to the group. especially as Earl himself was picking up steam. And we have to remember that Earl was a minor around this time, so there's not much he could really do. This would start the hashtag Free Earl movement, which would not only boost his story of Odd Future, but help boost Earl's own popularity as well. Towards the end of 2010, new members would officially join, and they would perform a 2-stop tour, with one tour date in London and another in New York City. But 2011 would be the year that truly changed the lives of everyone in the group. And it mainly started on February 10th, 2011, when Tyler dropped the breakout hit that catapulted him into the mainstream. With a self-directed music video uploaded to the Odd Future YouTube, Tyler would drop the forever iconic Yonkers. And while I will discuss the song itself in detail later, it is important to talk about how big of a moment this song was. So many well-respected rappers like Kanye West and Snoop Dogg were giving Tyler a bunch of praise, Ye even calling the Yonkers music video the video of the year. And even though nowadays Tyler has gone on to talk about how much he hates this song, I am sure that in the back of his mind, he is very, very happy for this song's success. It's the track that really put, like, not just Tyler, but almost everyone on OF directly on the map. I mean, hell, Frank dropped Nostalgia Ultra just a couple days afterward. Reportedly, within the same month of the Yonkers music video starting to pick up traction, Tyler was able to sign a 1-album deal with XL Recordings, the UK label that has been home to world-renowned acts like Adele, voice crack was insane, Adele, both Radiohead and Thom Yorke's solo work, and the White Stripes. Following this deal, Tyler and the rest of OF would sign a deal with Sony Records, in the now defunct Red Distribution, for their own label imprint, Odd Future Records, a label that all OF members would release music under, including Tyler after this upcoming project, until about 2016, but we'll get back to that. Also, excluding Frank and Earl, funnily enough, as for Frank, he already had a deal with Def Jam Records, one that, he famously loved so dearly, and Earl did go on to sign with Sony, but under his own label imprint, Tan Cressida, distributed by Columbia Records, then changing to Warner Music in 2019 with the release of his album Feet of Clay, an album with the greatest song of all time, East, a song that, fun legendary Will fact, I used to blast it at work all the time and would annoy my coworkers with it. It's gone to the point where anytime they hear the song on social media, they get flashbacks. Love you guys. Tyler would also release the single Sandwiches with Haji, both of them making their television debut with the song on Jimmy Fallon. But finally, on May 9th, 2011, after a truly turbulent year for the group, still sleeping on his grandmother's couch, Tyler would release his major label debut and his overall second album, 2011's Goblin. Purple guy reference. I need to get laid. Like Bastard, Goblin follows Tyler in another therapy session with Dr. TC, as he tries to unpack more of Tyler's psyche to understand him. This is part of an album trilogy after all, a confusing one, but a trilogy nonetheless. In this album, Tyler comes off a bit more mature, as he seems to take a bit more of a conversational tone with Dr. TC. The only thing is, something about Dr. TC is a bit off. The album's original cover features an edited photo of Buffalo Bill, an American cowboy and showman. This specific picture used on the album cover was a pic of Bill at 19, the same age that Tyler had been working on the album, with it officially releasing 2 months after he had turned 20. The deluxe edition cover, which is the one that is on most streaming platforms, was most likely taken during the Yonkers video shoot, with him sporting the same chains and Supreme hat taken from the video, with his eyes blacked out. And before you ask, yes, there was a drastic cut, partly because I saw how I looked in the mirror with the white shirt under the suit, and I looked more ridiculous than intended. So yeah. The album starts with the title track, Goblin. Here, Tyler sits down with Dr. TC for another supposed therapy session. The album seems to start off after the end of Bastard, where on Inglorious, Tyler talks about himself as the song closes, with Dr. CC starting Goblin, reminding Tyler that he would never harm someone or himself, saying that he doesn't have the balls to, which is a weird thing for a therapist to say to a patient, but this will be relevant for later. Ty uses this track to discuss his annoyance with the media now that there are more eyes on him, with more people criticizing him and his group's very vulgar and offensive music. Going on to tell Dr. TC that his friends should be able to express themselves without being blamed for harming the youth. as many old white people and politicians like to do when discussing provocative musicians like famously gangster rappers, and of course rock and roll musicians like Marilyn Manson being blamed for inciting the Columbine shooting. And for the record, if you want a reason to hate on Marilyn Manson, there are far better reasons than his music. He goes on to mention that he hates how people simply label his music as horrorcore, which is a subgenre of rap that is known for using more dark or horrifying imagery. And I understand that Tyler, as an artist, doesn't want his message to be misconstrued, but when you make a song like Sarah or VCR/Wheels, how else do you expect people to classify that, my nigga? Hyperpop? He also mentions how much he misses Earl, as this was around the time that he had went missing. Tyler and Earl had a bit of a big brother, little brother relationship, and it's one that the both of them missed very fondly around this time. The song is a decent start to the album, but truly does pale in comparison to the Bastard intro. Even Tyler says that on this song. The final line of this song, though, leads into the second track, and of course, Tyler's first hit song, Yonkers. Produced in just 8 minutes, Tyler uses this song as a proper introduction to one of his most famous or infamous alter egos, Wolf Haley. According to Tyler, Wolf Haley is the perfect version of him. He is effortlessly cool, gets bitches, and moves to the beat of their own drum. Throughout this 4-minute classic, Wolf Haley debates with other alter egos of Tyler's, the ones that were already established in Bastard, which morphed from Tyler's old artist name to the edgier and more immature version of Tyler, who obviously took up the majority of the runtime on Bastard. This song also features the infamous disses against rapper B.O.B. and Bruno Mars, where Wolf describes his distaste for the music that they make. And since this song has released, Tyler has begged Bruno Mars for forgiveness, and B.O.B. dissed Tyler on his song called No Future, a very obvious jab at OF, and also fell into a realm of obscurity and became a flat earther, so also referencing the fact that Tina still has not permed her weave. And in the final verse, not originally featured in the music video, Tyler throws more shots at Brandon Deshay, and again, properly introduces Wolf and Ace as characters to this story. It's truly no wonder this song became a hit, especially when paired with its dark and compelling music video featuring the iconic moment where he eats the roach, and its very just unexpected ending where he himself. No matter what, that video was destined to go viral. And again, despite Tyler hating it, it is a song that deserves all the praise. Following Yonkers is the track Radicals. It starts off with a near comical disclaimer where Tyler says that one should not replicate what is said in the song or take said song at face value, directly telling Fox News media personality Bill O'Reilly to go fuck himself, as he was one of those people that blamed the Columbine tragedy on rock music and is just, generally ignorant. He's on Fox News. And while ironically, Bill O'Reilly has multiple sexual harassment lawsuits levied against him and is over here preaching morality. Yeah, that's a Fox News moment. And with a chorus like this, I see why the disclaimer was there. The song starts off quite aggressively immediately, as you could imagine, with Tyler most likely embodying the Ace alter ego, embracing his immaturity and vitriolic angst, wanting to start some kind of extreme rebellion, before ending the song and telling himself that he can't let this angst consume him in order for him to properly grow. I kind of love that how, even with the disclaimer, this song is so clearly about not doing insane bad shit, and you can kind of tell that Tyler was annoyed that he even had to put that there in the first place. It's so it's so obviously over the top, and it kind of adds to the song's charm in my opinion. I just felt Tyler could accomplish his goal in a bit shorter than 7 minutes. Next on the track list is the album's other major hit song, She with Frank Ocean. In this forever all-time classic, Frank starts off the song saying that while in the middle of having sex with a girl, some attacker came in and got him, and he questions the girl as to why that guy might have been coming for them. Even though Frank's amazing vocals consume this song, it is still dark in nature, with She kind of being like Sarah except dialed down by 100 million. Tyler really feels this girl and hopes that she'll want to kick it with him. Otherwise, despite this song's very dark subject matter, it is a classic that Tyler still performs live to this day. Following She is Transylvania, the only track in Tyler's entire solo discography that is not produced by him at all, and is instead produced by Left Brain. Here, Tyler once again just speaks in a very vulgar and satirical manner about women, seemingly jabbing at how the media believes that Tyler acts towards women in real life with very obviously just stupid fucking lyrics. I kind of love it, honestly. Like, it's so over the top, but it works. For real, it works. Following Transylvania, though, is Nightmare, another track where Tyler rants to Dr. TC about how his life isn't as glamorous as it seems. Tyler here raps about how he feels depressed and how, even though in the darker moments of his depression, he contemplates that if he were to, he worries that he would break his mother's heart. It is a very sad song that starts to show the cracks in Tyler's character as he's becoming more and more famous. The song starts to end with him turning that depression into anger again, as Dr. TC asks Tyler why he tends to act that way. Introducing our newest character and another one of Tyler's alter egos in the next track, the infamous Tron Cat. With backing vocals from Sid, Tron Cat is the ego that represents Tyler's most evil, offensive, and depraved thoughts. An early version of the song leaked a bit before the album's release, to Tyler's dismay. This is the song that features that infamous victim, honey, you're my fifth one, and so forth line. The things said in this song are so shocking that Dr. TC is left speechless as he just tries to change the subject. And that next subject being the song Her, a clear sister track to She, where Tyler talks about a crush he has on a girl, said girl unfortunately having a man, but talks about it in a normal manner. Well, as normal as early Tyler can be. But despite people talking about how offensive Tyler was back then, I see now how he was slipping that woke pronoun bullshit into his music. We all should have seen the signs that he was one of those woke pronoun DEI alphabet people. But the next track is the song Sandwiches, spelled with a T, with Haji, the song that was debuted on Jimmy Fallon and was released as a single whose cover art is censored on most mainstream platforms because, well, the original, how do I say this in a monetizable manner? There's a Chaperone lyric about this. I'll just leave it at that. On this track, Tyler and Haji heavily rep Odd Future and talk about how the group was on top of the world and ready for a mainstream takeover. And in my opinion, it's hella weak. Hell, Tyler himself has said that in retrospect, out of the songs that he would have kept on Goblin, Sandwiches was not one of them. The next song is the second medley multi-part track in Tyler's discography, the song Fish, that, while not officially listed, secretly features the second song, Boppin' Bitch. Fish is a song where Tyler once more graphically describes trying to smash women, again, seemingly without their consent, as hidden feature Frank Ocean lets us know towards the end. Thanks, Frank. After 8 seconds of silence, Boppin' Bitch starts up abruptly, the song being about a girl that Tyler wants to have sex with because she is easy. Because she's the boppin' bitch. Both songs are incredibly weak. The only highlight was Frank's small, uncredited appearance towards the end of Fish, as both songs just feel very low effort. But then following Fish is Analog, with Haji once again, a fan favorite Goblin Era track. Despite sounding creepy, the song is the most upbeat from the album, with Tyler just wanting to have a fun summer with a girl. The song is so beloved that it got a sequel or remix on the next and final Odd Future collab project, with Frank Ocean and Sid. Following Analog, though, is another satirical rap song, the song BSD, or Bitch Suck Dick. Can't do this. Featuring Jasper and Taco once again, featuring more lyrical classics from the duo. But the song abruptly ends with Tyler shooting Taco and Jasper, despite ending the song saying that they're his friends. The album then starts to wind down with the next track, Window, featuring OF members Mike G, Haji, Domogenesis, and Frank Ocean. This song gives a window into the lives of each of, that's a funny typo, into each of the lives of Tyler's friends, as Dr. TC invites them all for a group intervention of some sort, with Dr. TC even mentioning that he couldn't get Jasper or Taco to come. As we know, Tyler killed them in the last song. The gang seems to take their newfound fame and success in stride, except for Tyler. He laments that things have only gotten worse for him as he now realizes that things are starting to get too real, with him managing an actual business now. Odd Future was now a brand record label and was getting more and more popular by the day. He's becoming an actual public figure now, and it's starting to negatively affect his mental health, with him ending the song in a fit of rage, killing all his friends, as Dr. TC gets him to try and calm down. The next track is AU79, an instrumental transition that leads into the album's proper outro, Golden, as AU79 is the symbol and atomic number for gold on the periodic table. Like Bastard, the album's outro fits with the intro track, making the phrase Golden Goblin. On Golden, Tyler tells Dr. TC how often he wants to you-know-what himself. He feels like the fun is being taken out of the creation of his music, how he feels like a lower person for lying to his mom and grandma about going to college while his mom worked hard for him, and starts to lose more and more of his sanity as the song closes, with Tyler getting subdued by nurses and security before he comes to a major realization. As I said earlier, Dr. TC had been acting a lot weirder on this album. The conversations between Dr. TC were a lot more conversational and informal in tone, with some of Dr. TC and Tyler's words starting to blend together a bit over the project, but becoming a lot more apparent towards the end of this track, leading to the major realization as the album closes that Dr. TC is not a real therapist, but has been another alter ego of Tyler's, being a representation of Tyler's conscious, as the album closes abruptly. That's where the proper album ends. The deluxe edition features the 3 bonus tracks, Burger with Haji, Untitled 63, and Steak Sauce. Untitled 63 is another purely instrumental track, while Burger and Steak Sauce are actual songs and serviceable bonus tracks to close out on. But that in total is Goblin. One thing I'm willing to praise this album for is its ability to tie up loose ends. Bastard was technically a mixtape, featuring songs from Tyler before he even went by Tyler the Creator, and was a lot more aggressive and angsty in tone. Goblin was able to take Bastard and well rationalize it, and give it somewhat of a proper explanation, while still trying to rationalize songs like Sarah and VCR are quite insane things to do. He managed to pull it off. Tyler to this day has mainstream fans singing a song where he threatens to do bad things to a woman if she doesn't kick it with him. I think the man's talent goes without saying, but it still faces the same issue I had with Bastard, and that being that it's still overtly edgy, featuring some of Tyler's weakest lyrics and production to date. While just like Bastard, I recognize the importance this album holds to Tyler's story, and I commend it for what it was able to do. As a project, it falls on the weaker side. So for me, Goblin gets a good 6.3 out of 10 for me. It's an improvement for sure, but not one big enough. Despite my personal reservations, however, Goblin was another astronomical win for Tyler. The album's popularity and the Yonkers single would earn Tyler a win for Best New Artist at the MTV Music Awards, back when people actually cared about those. Tyler and OF would also score another major W in September 2011, when they announced that Adult Swim had picked them up for the iconic Loiter Squad, a sketch comedy show written by and featuring OF members, with occasional guest appearances from other personalities and musicians like Mac DeMarco, Johnny Knoxville, and the late Mac Miller for sketches. Quite a colorful list of guests, honestly. The show was produced by OF themselves and Dick House Productions, the same production studio behind Jackass, spawning iconic skits like Beyond Scared Straight with Earl, I Just Bought a Bugatti with Eyes JJ Fish, a musical feat that neither Tyler or Frank Ocean have truly amounted to since, and Storage Wars with surprise guest Freddie Gibbs, and so much more. The group would close out its year of success with the compilation tape 12 Odd Future Songs, featuring 3 tracks from Bastard, and the other songs being from other OF members' projects. Now, in a November interview with Spin Magazine, Tyler admitted that for his next solo project, he wanted to shift away from the themes of his previous projects. And this showed a very exciting and necessary change that was coming for Tyler and his music. Within the time between Goblin and this next project, you could start to hear that maturity on the final and next Odd Future project, the Odd Future Tape Volume 2, and some of Tyler's features from around that time. And speaking of which, the OF tape went number 5 on Billboard and featured cult classics like Analog 2, Rella, White, and of course, Oldie, the majority of the album being produced by Tyler himself. Tyler would also start the Camp Flog Gnaw Festival in 2012, originally just the Odd Future Wolfgang Kill Them All Festival, with its first year lineup just being Odd Future members and 3 guest appearances from rapper Action Bronson, punk rock band Trash Talk, and even Lil Wayne. But Camp Flog Gnaw, as we know it today, has become one of the most well-beloved R&B and hip-hop festivals on the planet. The following year, in 2013, in February, Tyler would drop the first and only promotional single for his upcoming album, on Valentine's Day, Domo 23, with a music video featuring cameos from other OF members, announcing that Wolf would be releasing a month and a half later, on April 2nd. He would also start the Wolf Tour, that started 3 weeks before Wolf's actual release, and ended in May after being extended for another 2 weeks. It would also be Tyler's first solo tour of his career. But of course, on April 2nd, 2013, Tyler would drop his most beloved album at the time, and the project that really started changing how people perceived him and helped him start growing as an artist, 2013's Wolf. Wolf is technically part of a trilogy. The reason why I said that Goblin and Bastard were part of a confusing trilogy is because Wolf isn't a direct continuation of Goblin. When compiling the stories of each album, Wolf would actually make more sense being in the middle, and learning that after listening to the trilogy for the first time annoyed me, because I like listening to stories in chronological order, like a normal person. But hey, it is what it is. If you want a better understanding of the Wolf trilogy, I would highly recommend Dennis Tom's breakdown of it. It will be in the description, but again, me first. Now, in Wolf, we follow 2 main characters, Wolf Haley and Sam. Sam and Wolf are at a summer camp together and spend the album opening up about the issues in their lives, and also getting into a little beef over a girl. Back in 2013, this was Tyler's most positive album, both in tone and reception. The album starts off with the musical skit, aptly titled Wolf. We hear the character Sam practicing some music as Dr. TC walks in. Dr. TC appears to be a camp counselor here at Camp Flog Gnaw. That sounds familiar. As he introduces Sam to Wolf. But as Dr. TC goes away, Sam immediately gets on Wolf's case, beginning the beef that will be prevalent throughout this entire album. The next track, Jamba with Haji, is the first proper song on the album. On this track, Haji and Ty spit some braggadocious lines as Tyler ends the song asking Haji to go smoke, as surprise feature Domo Genesis makes fun of Tyler for not smoking. It's kind of like okay as a starting track. It's not as bombastic or self-reflective as the previous intros have been, though. Domo's appearance does lead into the next track, though, Cowboy, a rap from Sam's perspective. This is where we see how the album's story is going to be told. Each track is a different perspective from either Sam or Wolf. Cowboy is our proper introduction to Sam as a character. As you can guess from his less than stellar introduction on the album's intro, Sam is a bit of a lone wolf, one could say. Thank you again. I'm here all night. The song is spent with Sam introducing himself to Wolf, ending the song by remarking to Wolf that he should stay away from his girlfriend Salem. And spoiler alert, that nigga Wolf does not listen at all. Following Cowboy is Awkward, featuring an outro from Frank Ocean. Remember when we got consistent Frank Ocean releases? Yeah. Me neither. Well, the song is about a girl that Tyler used to date back in 2007, according to Genius. The song continues from Sam's point of view. This appears to be about how Sam and Salem met and were immediately in love, ending the song potentially hinting at some toxicity in their relationship. And not to glaze, but I do like Frank Ocean's ending. It's kind of the highlight of the song. After Awkward, though, we get this album's lead single, Domo 23. On this upbeat banger, Tyler raps as himself, not under any of the characters, and just raps about the success that him and OF have been getting the past few years. It's fun. I like it. But after Domo 23, we get an immediate mood change with one of Tyler's most vulnerable and beloved songs to date, Answer, with backing vocals from Sid. In this song, Tyler talks about what he would do if he was able to talk to his dad. And while he is somewhat grateful that he is not in his life, deep down he wishes that he would answer that hypothetical phone call. And good fucking lord, that hit me in the feels. Now, for me, thankfully, I grew up with both parents, so I can't relate to the song directly, but this still does a good job of just touching on the just general feeling of just like feeling lonely and out of place. Like, the music video for the song, that is really just the secret end to the penultimate song on this album. It's the visual representation of what it feels like to listen to this song, like for real. I don't know how else to describe it. It is amazing. Following answer is Slater with Frank Ocean. This song is rapped from the perspective of Wolf, as he raps about how much he loves his bike, which he named Slater. Both Frank and Tyler enjoy riding bikes in real life, so much so that they made a whole song about it, featuring the Watch the Throne man that cheated on Beyonce and most likely went to the Diddy party. There's even this paparazzi photo taken of the two of them riding bikes back in 2020, with Frank looking around hoping that people don't ask him to drop any music. Yeah, not an album behind those eyes. The next song after Slater is 48. This song is taken from the perspective of Sam once again. We learn that Sam was a crack dealer in his city, as he spends the song's runtime realizing that the harm that selling drugs has on the people he sells it to, while he reaps the benefits. Pretty fire, honestly, featuring more Frank backing vocals. After 48, though, is the fan favorite Colossus. This song is another non-canon track on the album where Tyler just raps about his real life. On Colossus, Tyler recounts a time where he and his friends went to Six Flags and six people came up to him and his friends and asked for a picture, with Tyler begrudgingly saying yes. Tyler then dramatizes the incident, making the fan come off as a bit overly obsessed. It is a great song. The first thing that came to mind when I had heard it was like, oh, this is kind of like Tyler's version of Eminem's Stan, with both of those songs being about like stalker insane fans. And many people also had that same opinion, so much so that they kept bringing it up to Tyler to the point where he now hates hearing that comparison. Song's still fire though. Following Colossus is of course the 10th track and our third consecutive medley multi-part track. Voice crack is insane. Party Isn't Over, Campfire, and Beamer, with Frank Ocean and French singer Laetitia Sadier. I think I said that right. On Party Isn't Over, Tyler talks about the feelings that he had when he lost his virginity, hiding behind the clear dancing metaphor, saying that even though he has no rhythm, he can still dance with the girl. The song is a vibe, but I just can't relate, as, you know, I am obviously a well-known just like pussy slayer. I can't say that seriously. Holy shit. Then on Campfire with Laetitia Sadier, Tyler and Laetitia just sing about the summer camp, where he seems to be having a fun time. Then on Beamer with Frank Ocean, it's just a banger where Ty and Frank rap about wanting to take a girl out in their car so they can do, you know, what teenagers do in their car alone in your homeboy's driveway at night, and then things get really awkward and you don't talk about it for 2 days, and then his girlfriend finds out and then it becomes a whole thing. And now overall, it's a great song. While it's not clear whose perspective these songs are sang from, Wolf and Sam seem to be enjoying their time at the camp. But that will all start to change. As Beamer closes, we find out that Samuel went on a date with Wolf. The next track would be I Fucking Hate You with the legendary Pharrell Williams. The song is taken from Sam's perspective as he raps about him and Salem's very toxic relationship. I get why this is the most streamed song from the project. It's great. It is the perfect mix of like Tyler's older sound and the newer things that he was going for. And Pharrell kills it on his appearance, man. The song ends with Wolf asking Salem why Sam is so uptight all the time. And Salem ends the song telling Wolf that some stuff went down in Sam's hometown, leading into the next track, Pigs, not to be confused with Pigs Fly. Taken from Sam's perspective, Sam seems to rap about his childhood and how he was bullied as a kid, explaining that the built-up anger and vitriol from his bullying caused him to be a bit reckless, for lack of a better term. It is the most like old Tyler sounding song in the album, and that is by design. Tyler admittedly censored portions of the song because he just deemed it too fucked up for the album. And this, jokes aside, does show a bit of like growing maturity for Tyler. And it is refreshing to see. Following Pigs is Parking Lot with Casey Veggies and Mike G. Here, the trio raps over this jazz rap beat about their undying allegiance to OF and the Loiter Squad. The song ends with a skit where a fellow camp member warns Wolf that Sam knows that Wolf and Salem have been kicking it, and Sam is now out to get him. Tyler gives OF a lot of love on these next few tracks. Speaking of which, the next song would be Rusty with Domo Genesis and Earl Sweatshirt. This song is straight heat. Like the previous song, the trio raps about the hardships they faced to gain success, and they perform the song on Late Night with David Letterman. heavily censored, and with beautiful dancing performances from Tyler and Earl. Tyler takes his verse to vent how his fans and the media lob constant criticism at him, also using the "I have a gay friend" excuse to combat the homophobia allegations, which in 2013 worked it out decently fine. Tyler even raps about how he doesn't understand how Earl's mom hates him, despite Tyler being part of the reason that Earl had a successful career, and even points to him during the performance when saying so. Kinda gagged her, honestly, not gonna lie. This song ends with Sam finding a gun as he shoots it into the air, scaring the campgoers looking for Wolf. Yeah, that's a United States moment. After Rusty is the final OF posse cut track of all time, Trash Wang, featuring Jasper, Nikel Smith, Lucas Versetti, Left Brain, Lee Spielman, and Taco. Just like BSD and Tina, it's just a bit of fun. Also featuring Lucas Versetti's first and only ever musical feature within the group, with him saying the N-word. It has been censored on almost all releases, but like it's obvious what he said. Kind of iconic. Problematic, but iconic. After Trash Wang, we then get Tree Home 95 with Coco O and Erykah Badu. Over this smooth as hell instrumental, Samuel invites Wolf into her tree home, another thinly veiled metaphor for sex, with her tree home most likely being her. Still, the song is amazing. Following Tree Home is the penultimate song on the album, the aforementioned Tamale, whose music video ends with Answer. It is another high-energy banger described as a representation of Tyler's mind. It is another fan favorite to be heard live. But then we get the album's proper intro, Lone, once again giving the album a connecting outro and intro title, giving the phrase Lone Wolf. Co-produced by Brazilian composer Roberto Menescal, Tyler vents to Dr. TC about how his increased fame is starting to affect his life, and also how the passing of his grandmother in 2012 has affected him. He also mentioned their somewhat strained relationship on Answer, ending the song abruptly saying that if he was given the chance, he would kill Samuel. With that being the album's abrupt end, you can see how it would well lead into Goblin, as Dr. TC reminds Wolf, or Tyler, that he wouldn't actually want to kill himself or anyone else, revealing to us that Wolf and Sam and even Kem Flogna were all parts of Tyler's mind, with Sam being another alter ego of Tyler, representing how much of an outcast he felt like when he was younger. The writing might be kinda fire here, and I'll just come out and say it, I was really pleased with this album, just on first listen. Tyler was true to his word about wanting to mature as an artist, and that is shown here, with the more insightful lyrics, well-improved production, and the album having a more serious tone overall. I'm sure that Tyler felt a profound sense of pride in having his biggest idol and musical inspiration hop on what is now Wolf's most popular song, and has since maintained a friendship with him. It showed not just us listeners, but Tyler himself that he was ready to move on from the edginess and start making more serious music. This whole OF era was when everyone started dropping the I don't give a fuck facade and started talking about real shit, and started showing real personality through their art. The big three of the groups also dropped their fan favorite projects around this time as well, with of course Wolf, with Earl dropping his debut critically acclaimed album Doris just 4 months later, and Frank had just dropped the Grammy award winning Channel Orange just the previous year. Wolf isn't without his criticism though. While being a major improvement, some songs did just feel a bit lacking. Like the openings Wolf and Jamba don't even feel like opening tracks, and felt incredibly underwhelming compared to the intros of his previous works. And now with the hindsight of knowing what comes next, I know Tyler can do better than this. Not to say that the album was a bad listening experience or anything, not at all. But for me, Wolf gets a sweet 7.2 out of 10. A very welcome and pleasant improvement. As Tyler's career continued progressing, things have gotten continuously better and better for him, and the Wolf era was no different. As the tour ended, Tyler was picking up more and more steam, and he would also start his now deleted Vine account featuring internet classics like
Oh no, I hope I don't fall. No.
mainly consisting of Tyler and his OF friends messing around. Similarly to Frank, I knew Tyler as one of the funny memes on Vine when I grew up. That one, if you doodoo on yourself Vine, while not officially posted by him, I don't think, that was my first proper introduction to him. Loiter Squad would also continue its run up until July 2014, and this is where things start to get a bit interesting. As mentioned previously, OF members were starting to change a lot, and with the success of the big three of the group, they definitely started drifting more and more apart. So Loiter Squad was on an indefinite hiatus until Tyler came out a year later to confirm what everyone had been thinking, with Tyler saying that the show opened up new opportunities for the group and that they were done with the show. Camp Flog Gnaw would also get bigger in size, featuring guest appearances from artists like Pharrell, Rick Ross, the late Mac Miller, Freddie Gibbs, and more. It seemed a lot like the group was just going their separate ways. Not in a negative way, it seemed at the time, but they were obviously drifting a bit away from each other. But Tyler especially was gearing up to make quite a drastic change. In a November 2014 interview with The Fader, Tyler revealed that his next project had a lot of guest appearances, but none of them were from OF members, except one. We wouldn't get any more real word on this album until April 9th, 2015, when Tyler informally dropped the two singles Death Camp and Fucking Young with music videos, and the announcement that his new album would drop on April 13th, and the hype was at an all-time peak. These singles were nothing like the music Tyler had put out before, and it seemed like he had a lot to say on this project. So without hesitation, on April 13th, Tyler somewhat surprise dropped his fourth album and his final under Odd Future Records, 2015's Cherry Bomb. Cherry Bomb to this day sits so far removed from Tyler's discography, and that is by design. Now, the common comparison with this album was that this was Tyler's Yeezus, a comparison that will come back later at least 2 more times. But I believe that Cherry Bomb is the most accurate album to compare that to. We need to remember what the Yeezus era was like. Kanye, coming off of what many consider to be one of the greatest albums of all time, drops an album that does not follow a story set up by previous works, has his most experimental production to date, and was made for the sole purpose of making a grand statement against his detractors. And that is what Cherry Bomb is. The album is a standalone project with Tyler's most experimental instrumentals to date, made mainly to give Tyler a platform to experiment, but also show his fans, critics, and those who doubted him that he has something to say. The album's story follows Tyler taking his fictional girlfriend on a car ride to go see a movie. The story is communicated through various skits along the album. The album also features 4 main covers. One with Tyler being drawn over with the Cherry Bomb or Cherbum character. The other is a close-up of Tyler wearing a Cherry Bomb hat. The other one is a close-up of his face, clearly in the style of his first 2 projects. And the one that is on every major streaming platform as of May 2021, the one titled Piss Pants. Great name, which features a white man who has peed himself, holding a cigarette in his right hand, and possessing a little cherry bomb tattoo on his left hand. The album starts off with the bombastic intro, Death Camp, one of the 2 tease singles. This is very much Tyler's on-site equivalent. It sends an immediate message to us listeners that this project is going to be nothing like we've heard Tyler before. This song also features another rare case of Tyler getting production assistance, with feature Cole Alexander and with OF affiliate Mike Eisinger helping him out. This album only features one other song where he seeks a production assistance. Tyler immediately sets the mood for this album and lets us know that we are in for a journey. Following Death Camp is Buffalo, with a cameo appearance from the famous Survivor contestant, Shane Powers. Shane addresses him at a time of controversy as Tyler starts recognizing that he's becoming an influential figure and that he needs to take that responsibility seriously. The big controversy at the time was when Tyler was banned from New Zealand, and also later that year, banned from the UK for 5 years by at the time Prime Minister Theresa May, citing his earlier music as offensive, mainly towards gay people. Fair enough. New Zealand described Tyler and OF as terrorist threats as well. And despite Tyler going a bit overboard in his early music, I don't believe he's above criticism for that. But the irony of this ban was that he was going to go play for Eminem's music festival, a rapper who also rapped about really fucked up shit in his early work. The dude has a whole song where he talks about murdering his ex-wife on his sophomore critically acclaimed album. The same Eminem who also got hit with the homophobia allegations and spent a lot of time trying to prove that he wasn't. But M wasn't deemed a threat to society. The neurodivergent black guy was. Yeah, right. He also references how he was arrested in Austin, Texas for inciting a riot at a South by Southwest performance that got a bit too rowdy, spawning his forever iconic mugshot that has been memed to death since its release. The song is pretty alright. Following Buffalo is Pilot with Sid. Sid is the only OF member or affiliate on the album, and she comes back multiple times. On this track, Tyler talks about how he wants to take himself to newer heights, using an obvious plain metaphor to get there. This feels like an improved version of Pigs Fly from Bastard, with the same premise and same message, but a more enjoyable listen. After Pilot though, comes Run, a song that's just over a minute long, where Tyler raps about gangbangers that glamorize their lifestyle, not seeming to realize that said lifestyle that they live will end negatively not just for them, but those around them. Tyler said on Twitter that it was based on old friends that started gangbanging, and while an insightful message for sure, the song is easily the weakest on the project. With its very short runtime, over-the-top production, and Tyler and the small guest appearances from Toro y Moi and Schoolboy Q being covered in over-the-top voice filters, the song falls short. It has so much going on. It's like so overstimulating that it doesn't stimulate anything, if that makes sense. The following track though is the song Find Your Wings with Roy Ayers, Sid, and nowadays well-known collaborator Kali Uchis. With additional production from Ray Ayers, after a soulful instrumental intro, Tyler comes to the realization that he needs to find his own path in life and do what makes him fulfilled. A definite banger that showed us for the first time the chemistry that Kali and Tyler have. The next song is a big 180 in mood with the title track Cherry Bomb over this incredibly energetic instrumental, most likely inspired by rap group Death Grips, one of Tyler's favorite music acts. Tyler raps over a heavily distorted and energetic beat, while his vocals are intentionally muddy. It's hard to clock what he's actually saying without going on Genius or using technology to up his vocals. He said that he wanted to make the instrumental the bigger focus of the song than the actual lyrics, just for him to re-release Cherry Bomb in 2018 with instrumentals, making the song feel a bit more worthless nowadays. Still, I like it. Following Cherry Bomb is Blow My Load with Austin Anderson, Wanya Morris, and Damn Funk. It is a slower Tyler song where Tyler very passionately states that he wants to eat a girl out because he wants to, do what the song title says. The song was inspired by fashion model Cara Delevingne, as Tyler said on Twitter that he saw a picture of her and his immediate response was that he wants to do what he said in the song's chorus. I wish I was that bold. A slow Tyler song with like semi-aggressive lyrics about wanting to smash somebody. It works better than expected, but can work a bit better, Following Blow My Load is another slow track, the song Two-Seater with Aaron Shaw, Austin Anderson, and Samantha Nelson, featuring a secret second track, Hair Blows. I really like it. It's just a chill song where Tyler takes a joyride with a girl he likes, ending the skit with OF affiliate or member Lionel Boyce, or L-Boy, pretending to be a fan of Tyler's while talking shit about him behind his back. I like it. It's nice. Following Two-Seater and Hair Blows is another hidden two-song track, The Dark Brown Stains of Darkkeys Latifah Part 6 through 12 remix with Schoolboy Q, and the second song, Special. The song title was very clearly meant to be satirical. On this track, Tyler and Q rap some braggadocious bars over another high-energy instrumental. The second song, Special, is a hidden bonus track only featured on the physical versions of Cherry Bomb. And on this song as well, Tyler just bombastically announces that he is better than all of his contemporaries, and it's kinda heat. I wish Q was on both songs. But next is the other two single before the album's drop and the fourth consecutive medley dual part track in Tyler's discography, Fucking Young and Perfect, with Toro y Moi, Sid, Kali Uchis, and Charlie Wilson. This is the most popular song from the album, and for good reason. All the features do their thing on this song. Uncle Charlie and Kali have always produced bangers with Tyler. Fucking Young and Perfect is about a girl that Tyler thinks is perfect for him, but the issue is, the girl is, as the title suggests, too fucking young. Bit of an odd premise to sing about, but it works well here. Following Fucking Young and Perfect is the second most popular song from this album and a fan favorite cut, Smuckers with Lil Wayne and Kanye West. Tyler made the first part of the beat back in 2011 and was actually planning to give it to Jay-Z and Kanye for Watch the Throne, but instead decided to keep it for himself. Not much other commentary to give it, really. Like, it just features great performances from the three of them, and iconic lines from the three of them as well. It's a collaboration that just works. All three of them have been, at least in modern day, all three of them have been known to work well together, so this just works. I think it's pretty cool that even though this song was initially meant to be like on Watch the Throne, Tyler still got half of that duo to perform on this song. That's kind of legendary, if I do say so myself. Following Smuckers is the penultimate track, Keep the O's, with Coco O and Pharrell, who both first collaborated with Tyler on Wolf. It's another braggadocious track of Tyler's where he and Pharrell rap about how they've got it made. And in my opinion, the voice effects used on Tyler and Pharrell's voices sound a bit too goofy, and I feel like the song suffers because of that. It's like the similar issues I had with Run, but lessened a bit. But finally, the album ends officially on the final track, Okaga, I think it's Okaga, California, with Leon Ware, Clementine Crevy, and Alice Smith, over this incredibly chill instrumental. Tyler sings about his girl joining him on an important upcoming part of his life's journey. This album has sprinkled throughout messages of trying to find one's footing in life, making this a very appropriate closer. Not just in subject matter, but would definitely lead into his next album, as it was definitely going to be a major change. Despite the album ending there on streaming platforms, the physical copies feature the bonus track Yellow, with backing vocals from Kali Uchis. It's the first non-explicit song in Tyler's discography so far, with the song just being about how much Tyler loves a girl, and that is where Cherry Bomb ends. The album was quite a shock on first listen. I was aware that Cherry Bomb was different, but it still managed to surprise me. This is a given, but it has some of my favorite music and production of Tyler so far. I really do enjoy hearing when artists start to go out of their comfort zone and start trying new sounds. And it's even better when it's well executed. Well, decently executed. Like I said, the album still has low points, where it feels like Tyler tried some things and they didn't work out. Like again on Keep the O's and Run. Plus again, given the foresight of Tyler's later releases, I am aware that he's capable of more. Some of the best and most beloved songs from this project feel like very early versions of the next album. And I don't think that retroactively makes the songs bad or anything. It actually just gives me excitement for what is to come next. I believe that Tyler was able to accomplish his goal with this project, and I see why he considers it a personal favorite. While not perfect, it continues to show Tyler's growth and maturity in sound and character, being an even more positive album than Wolf and being the least edgy in his discography at the time, showing a clear motive for some change. But in case you were wondering, ending with Cherry Bomb, Tyler and guests have said the F slur exactly 50 times, just in case you were wondering. I counted. Tyler's a true record breaker. But for me, Cherry Bomb gets a nice 7.7 out of 10. Cherry Bomb was given some decently positive reviews from critics, if you don't count Anthony Fantano, but mixed reception from fans, which is expected. Anytime an artist makes music that they are not typically known for, some fans will hate it relentlessly until either A, it grows on them, or B, they denounce their fan alliance with that artist. Still, 2015 and 16 would be very formative years for Tyler in both private and in the public eye. Tyler would go on a tour to support Cherry Bomb, where he would get that infamous ban from the UK, stopping a tour date that he had set there. He would also go on a miniature tour with new friend and collaborator A$AP Rocky, after the two settled a small beef that A$AP and OF had back in the early 2000s. This same year, Tyler also debuted the now defunct Golf Media app. It was a subscription service that featured original content produced by Tyler and other OF members on occasion. Like an interview with fucking EDP 445. Oh, that hasn't aged well at all. Oh, God, no. The app would later be discontinued in July 2018, most likely due to Tyler and OF going into other media ventures, and probably due to a subscriber base that just was not big enough to justify its existence. But 2015 is really where the Cherry Bomb era closes. Since we are nearing the end of this video, I feel like it is important to reflect on this era of Tyler's career. In the modern day, unless you are a major hip-hop fan, or you've been tapped into OF since day one, It seems like many mainstream fans are very unaware of this era. I know I abuse the Joji comparisons a lot, but like, if you were to ask the average person who maybe listened to like a couple of songs from his newer projects, you know, they would be surprised that the Earthquake guy made a song like Tron Cat or Sarah. Similar to how someone may have heard, you know, songs like Glimpse of Us, Slow Dancing in the Dark, and Yeah, Right. And would also be surprised that he made songs like Kill Yourself and White is Right. Both songs I know regrettably by heart. And low-key, that's for the best. Despite Tyler not caring about how people critiqued his old music and his old trolly personality, even to this day, if it wasn't constant circulation that Tyler made albums like Bastard and Goblin, he would have a little bit of trouble finding success today. If he decided to like re-release Bastard physically and on streaming or something, he'd be in hot water, that's for sure. And that does remind me of another thing I want to say before this video closes. As much as like Tyler fans get their panties in a bunch whenever the stereotypical Tyler made these songs tweet goes viral every couple of months, one thing that I think both Tyler and his fans should remember is that no art is above criticism. In this video, I explained that a lot of Tyler's more controversial subject matter was sparked by 1, genuine teenage angst, and 2, Tyler wanting to be provocative. And something you guys need to remember is that when making art of any kind, especially art that is inherently provocative, you should prepare yourself for those who aren't going to be big fans of it. For example, do you guys remember the famous music video and how it featured nude wax models of celebrities like Bill Cosby, Donald Trump, Taylor Swift, Chris Brown, Rihanna, all sharing the same bed? The video was inspired by Vincent de Sierra's Sleep painting, albeit with a bit of a different connotation. And that video was highly controversial for a multitude of obvious reasons. The video was obviously very provocative in nature. I mean, having Ree and Chris next to each other in bed is definitely a choice, and people are allowed to have their opinions on it, with many divided on the ethical nature of the video. But still, Ye wanted to make a statement, and that he did, and he was fine with the scrutiny that he would get for it. Similarly, Tyler understood back then that a lot of what he was saying was messed up, but he put it out anyway. Again, I think there are highlights on some of these early projects, but even I, Pink Suit and all, I wasn't, you know, throwing ass and hitting the Carlton when I was listening to Sarah and Tron Cat. Those songs were genuinely fucking horrifying. And even if I can somewhat rationalize those songs from like an artistic viewpoint, seeing the story that Tyler was trying to tell with those albums, I also understand that it will turn people off, as they do have very unfortunate real life connotations. So getting all self-righteous about being able to handle Tyler's older work is no major feat to me, and like, you guys need to shut the fuck up. Like, I'm sorry. it's annoying as fuck. I find myself starting to become a bit of a Tyler fan myself with his video, and I still think that he shouldn't be absolved from criticism because it was a different time, or people are too soft nowadays, and blah blah blah, whatever. I also mentioned before that Tyler has been hypercritical of his work throughout his career. In retrospect, he thinks Goblin was a terrible album and will only keep a select few tracks on it. The only thing that I haven't seen him outwardly criticize have been his older viewpoints. One of the more, you know, bad takes, I'll just be blunt, one of the worst takes was when he did an interview with the late Larry King, where Larry asks him his justification for using profanity and slurs in his songs. And this was before, you know, the things that we knew today. And Tyler's response was that they were just words, in that he grew up in a different time, in that one should not be barred from using those words, in that we only give those words more power if we assign malice to them.
You've been criticized for using offensive language in lyrics and songs. It doesn't seem to bother you. Why do you use offensive language? Do you use the N-word?
Nigga, yes.
Now, that's an offensive word
To some people, to many people.
And how, in what terms do you use it?
I don't know, man. See, like, people have to understand, I grew up in a different time, so where that word is just a word. It has no effect, but it is a double standard because there's certain people who will get offended if someone who doesn't have the skin tone of me says it, like, which is really weird, you know? Like, then they're keeping the original meaning of that a lot. I don't know how to explain it.
Well, if a white person says
like if a white person says it.
Isn't it derogatory?
Like, it's derogatory because your skin isn't the same color as mine. But why when it's just weird that a lot of people still get you know,
upset
with that. And it's like, I don't know. I think you give certain words power.
Are you saying it's just a word?
Yeah, like, if you choose to be
Is there any word
you
that
could call me a nigga and I would not give a fuck.
Is there any word that would bother you? Would the word boy bother you? If someone said, hey boy.
Not at all.
Wouldn't bother you? No word would bother you?
No.
So anybody could call you anything?
Yeah, I wouldn't care. All right, that's good for you.
You're not anti-gay, you're not, no.
Nah, like again, it's just another word. You could find anybody more so my age who uses that word just like that, but it's a different time and everything. And I know that word is offensive to some people, but I'm not.
And even though he hasn't said it outright, it's very clear that these are opinions that he does not agree with anymore.
On one side, I'm very grateful that what I made could just be, you know, acknowledged in a world like this. But also, it sucks that whenever we, and I mean guys that look like me, do anything that's genre bending or that's anything, they always put it in a rap or urban category, which is, and I don't like that urban word. It's just a politically correct way to say the N-word to me. So when I hear that, I'm just like, why can't we just be in pop? Why can't it just, you know what I mean? So I felt like half of me feels like the rap nomination was a backhanded compliment. Like, oh, my little cousin wants to play the game. Let's give him the unplugged controller so he could shut up and feel good about it. That's what it felt like a bit. But another half of me is very grateful that the art that I made could be acknowledged on a level like this when I don't do the radio stuff. I'm not played in Target. I'm in a whole different world than what a lot of people here listen to. So I'm grateful and like,
But still, I think you can still, to this day, point out the issues with a take like that without being considered some, like, mega Tyler hater, you know? All of that to say, Tyler's early career will always remain in some level of infamy, and that is something that people need to understand. Despite that infamy, however, Tyler's early discography is one that shows that growth and maturity are integral to perfecting your craft. Tyler's slow and steady growth throughout his projects so far has been really fun to experience. Despite being a notorious troll at the time, Tyler has shown a real passion for music since day one, and has made a discography that has consistently gotten better with each release. Like I said before, even though a lot of this era has aged a bit poorly, I still see why diehard Tyler fans still hold these eras in high regard. Tyler was truly finding his wings, and I'm sure that watching that growth from the beginning must have been awesome to experience. And that makes me all the more excited for his next 4 albums, to see how they stack up in the grand scheme of things, and to see if Tyler truly does deserve a part in the GOAT conversation.